news. New York made a giant decision. Big Blue signing Russell Wilson, the 10-time Pro Bowler, signing a one-year deal with the Giants worth up to $21 million, $10.5 guaranteed. He'd been talking to his former team, the Steelers and the Browns, but now he's heading to MetLife, where he won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. This comes just days after New York signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal worth $8 million. So NFL analyst Damian Woody now joins us. Damian, what's your reaction to Wilson heading to the Giants?
Well, they finally got a professional outfit at the quarterback position. We saw how inept the Giants' quarterback situation was last year, particularly with Tommy DeVito. And so now you bring in Russell Wilson, a guy. I mean, listen, we saw what happened, what transpired last year with Pittsburgh. He had, moments of some really good, solid quarterback play, obviously finishing that 5-game losing streak at the end of the season. But this is clearly, a professional outfit at the quarterback position, a guy who can come in.
Yeah, started strong last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was there, ended on kind of a rougher note, but we'll see how that plays out. Now let's take a look at the Giants quarterback room now. In the last month, New York has agreed to deals with Wilson, of course, and I mentioned Jameis Winston. Woody, you mentioned Tommy DeVito. They hold the number 3 pick in the draft, and prior to the Wilson signing, Adam Schefter says selecting a quarterback is not out of the question for the Giants.
Let's live in a universe here where Russell Wilson picks the Giants. I still think with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Tommy, I still think the Giants may go ahead and take Shedeur Sanders at number 3. So whether they sign Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it changes anything.
Interesting. So, Woody, what would you do with the number 3 pick if in the draft, if Shedeur Sanders was still available?
Well, listen, if I had conviction, I would take Shedeur Sanders. Listen, this Giants organization have struggled mightily at the quarterback position after Eli Manning moved on. And so if you're the New York Giants, you got to have multiple cracks at the quarterback. We know they brought in Russell Wilson. We know they brought in Jameis Winston. But when you have an opportunity to get a talented passer like Shedeur Sanders in the mix as well, you got to give yourself, as an organization, every opportunity to try to remedy that quarterback position, because that's why the Giants have been mired in mediocrity for so long now.
All right, he could be the future there, but I'm trying to imagine Jameis Winston on one shoulder whispering in his ear and Russell Wilson in the other. What's that got to be like? Should be interesting. Damian Woody, thanks, man.
Yep.
Stefon Diggs is trying to boost New England with the Patriots on a 3-year, $69 million deal that includes $26 million guaranteed. That, according to Adam Schefter, who reports Stefon Diggs is on track to injury in Week 8 with the Texans last season. We have the Patriots pretty well represented. Our NFL analysts, Damian Woody and Jason McCourty, are with us now on SportsCenter. Damian, this Stefon Diggs signing is notable because finally it seems like the Patriots are addressing a position of need through free agency. But realistically, at this age for Stefon Diggs, how does he help Drake May take that next step in year 2?
Yeah, listen, if he's healthy, he provides that veteran comfort blanket that a young guy like Drake May needs. Obviously, we know the quarterback is very talented, but when you have a dependable guy who obviously, again, if he's healthy, he would vault to be the number 1 wide receiver for the New England Patriots. He provides that comfort. And make no mistake about it, last year's wide receiver room.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you can look at age and you can look at him coming off an injury. But a lot of times when you look at free agency and how a guy fits on a team, you have to look inside that locker room and see what the New England Patriots have. Last year they drafted 2 wide receivers, one in the 2nd round, one in the 4th round. Those guys didn't contribute much. You now bring in an alpha receiver in Stefon Diggs, a guy to set the tone in that room, not only in the wide receiver room, but also on the offensive side of the ball from a leadership standpoint. He left Buffalo. There was controversy. There was different things. He became a captain in Houston. So that shows the impact that he can have right away on this locker room. And prior to getting hurt last year, he's had a 1,000-yard season every year since 2018. So I think he's a guy that's going to help them tremendously.
And Stefon Diggs, not the only former Bills receiver that the Patriots brought in this offseason. Remember, they signed Mac Hollins, famously shoeless Mac Hollins, on the walk-ins to these stadiums. Okay, so year 2 for Drake May. It's expected to be year 2, season 1, though, on the field for J.J. McCarthy. Remember, he missed all of last season with a knee injury. And the Vikings have moved on from Aaron Rodgers, at least for now. Listen, though, to what McCarthy had to say. He was at a golf tournament in Mexico about his standing in Minnesota's quarterback room.
They haven't told me, and I'm happy they didn't, because I try to earn it every single day, and I never want that to be given to me. And it's such a privilege and opportunity to give me that chance, and I'm just going to make the most of it every single day.
I got 2 Super Bowl champions with a combined 25 years in the NFL. And J-Mac, I want to start with you. You hear J.J. McCarthy say that, and you think what?
Man, I love that. If I'm a guy or a veteran in that locker room, that's what I want to hear my quarterback, who hasn't played a single snap in a regular season game in the NFL. He doesn't want to give it to him. He wants to earn it. He wants to prove to the guys that he's capable of leading that football team. Well, listen, on the other side of it, the other quarterback in their locker room is Brett Rippon right now. J.J. McCarthy is QB1, and he is the guy. Just because Kevin O'Connell's not giving him a call saying, hey, bud, you're our guy, and March doesn't matter. He's going to be the quarterback to move them forward, and he has a lot of weapons to work with him on that offensive side of the ball. So, yes, he's going to be a rookie, but with Kevin O'Connell calling the plays, J.J. McCarthy's a guy that can step right in and win some football games for this Minnesota Vikings team.
Listen, I totally agree. The thing that you love to hear from J.J. McCarthy in that soundbite, he's not entitled. He understands that. Listen, just because I was, their number one pick last year, I still have to go out here and earn it, not only for the coaching staff but for the guys in the locker room. You love to hear stuff like that, and also from the Vikings' perspective, it's not what they say, it's what they do. They haven't brought in a quarterback to challenge J.J. McCarthy, so I think it's his job, but I love the mentality that the young man has going into year 2.
Just to remind everybody, as we gear toward this year's NFL draft, J.J. McCarthy selected 10th overall last year. That's Jason McCourty, Damian Woody on SportsCenter. Thank you, guys.
I'll start spreading the news. Well, we are. Russell Wilson heading to New York in what you can call a giant decision. The 10-time Pro Bowler signing a one-year deal with the Giants worth up to $21 million, $10.5 million guaranteed. He'd been talking to the Steelers and the Browns, but he's heading to MetLife. That's where he won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. This comes just days after Big Blue signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal for $8 million. And then Stefon Diggs, he's heading to New England. He's $6 million guaranteed. Diggs suffered a season-ending ACL injury in Week 8 of last season with the Texans, but he's on track to return Week 1 of this season, up to the point of getting. Let's go back to the NFL, where Tennessee's interesting. Cam Ward heating up after his pro day. The Titans, who hold the top pick in the draft, plan to hold an additional private workout and throwing session with Ward. Sources telling our Adam Schefter that Tennessee is still willing to listen for offers for that first pick, but the price of that pick, it's going up. Going to take an even stronger package based on how he did in that pro day. And if you think Minnesota's letting Sam Darnold walk out the door meant J.J. McCarthy's the de facto starter there, think again. The second-year quarterback hasn't been told he's the starter next season. Now, keep in mind, the only other QB on the team right now, journeyman Brett Rippon. McCarthy shared this in an interview with the Up and Adams show.
They haven't told me, and I'm happy they didn't, because I try to earn it every single day, and I never want that to be given to me. And it's such a privilege and opportunity to give me that chance, and I'm just going to make the most of it every single day.
All right, so we remind you of J.J. McCarthy's year in 2024. The Vikings took him 10th overall after he won the national title with